Good early evening, good peoples. It is Thursday evening in the U.S. All right, late afternoon in some places like the West Coast, Pacific Standard. All right, guys, I'm going to jump in here with Granite. Remember, when I'm in Asia next month, I'm in the U.S. So they come out. Sometimes I stay up and put it out because it's late evening my time. The markets are already open. I wasn't able to do it last time, so I'm going to update you. They pay a lot. There's no question. There can be big NAV erosion. So this weekend, after we get Roundhill's single payers, which overlap with many of these, like the Nvidia, the Coin, the Tesla, even the Bitcoin oriented payer. I can do better comparisons, and I've already done some. So we don't have all the other similar fun comparisons in this video, but I'll do another this weekend. All right, so let's go through here. What did they actually pay? Big payments again. There's no question that Granite pays you. In a couple of cases, comparisons, they're winning in total return because they pay so much even with their NAV erosion. Okay, so again, total return is always the key. All right, let's look at the TSYY. Somebody asked me, and I don't think I replied to that comment, is this a good time to buy TSYY? Well, I would say this, while the fund scores really well, right, because they pay so much and the NAV erosion is there, they're beating the other funds. My question more, out of all the big tech stocks, Tesla had been beaten down and is starting to wake up. And when you're undervalued relative to the other big tech, my bigger question is, yeah, you could buy some. What are the markets going to do? I fear that we can still get this pullback because we're so toppy in terms of our valuations in the market, and this bull market is 15 years long in the tooth. So my sense is we're going to pull back at some point. Do we run all the way into January and then pull back first quarter of next year, or do we pull back in the traditional September and October months, where September is one of the most volatile, October has some of the biggest crash percentages? So that's an if question for you. But if you said to me, hey, I want to invest in Tesla right now and I want to use an income fund, I would say it's one of the better funds right now that's been beaten down that likely is going to go up. My issue is if the market pulls back, all things stocks for the most part will go down. Although I'm not convinced that the mining stocks will at this point in time. It appears that they're going to have some strength. Again, if it's a bigger pullback and it's a liquidity crunch and people get margin calls, they throw the baby out with the bathwater initially. But then the miners prove to have value as, the high-flying stock. The money comes out of the high-flying tech stocks when they realize that they're not going up anymore for now. And then it starts to migrate over there, and just a small percentage of that money into the miners just balloon them up massively. Because I've told you guys several times that all of the gold and silver miner stocks added together don't equate to the Mag 7. Any one of the Mag 7 market cap is bigger than the market cap of all the miners. Okay, I'm done talking about them, but if you're not aware we're in a commodity super cycle, to your dismay, 6 months out, a year out, because these is an area that will massively get capital. All right, so what did they pay? 140% yield on cost for TSYY. It paid 22 cents. You can see been pretty consistent. 21 cents the week before, 22 cents the week before that, the week of August 7th, 22 cents, July 31st, 23, 25, 25. Now this is the oldest fund that YieldBoost. It was the starter YieldBoost fund. So if you look back in 2 years at Tesla, any fund will be negative, right? Typically, the total return will be negative because it's been beaten down so much, but it is coming back. Okay, as I said, it's the most beaten down, undervalued tech stock, in my opinion. Okay, so Nvyy, the earnings weren't perfect, right? It bounced, sold off, came back. Again, I think now Nvidia goes as the market goes. It's no longer the driver of the market. I think all the tech stocks, if they get beaten down, they will if the market goes down. So it's kind of hoping, can it cause the market to go to all-time highs further? It doesn't appear to be doing that. But we haven't started September, right? We're one more trading day away, and I had forgotten about the holiday. So, Labor Day is there on Monday, so we don't see any action in the markets till Tuesday. So after Friday, it's a 3-day holiday weekend, and you only have 4 trading days in September. We'll see what comes out, right? You got a 85% probability of a rate cut. To me, the big question is, do they do 50 basis points or do they do 25? That can be a stimulus, but usually it's like a sugar high. It doesn't last very long, right? Um, they've dropped rates massively. There's a reason you cut rates, because you see unpleasant economic activity. And guess what? Rate cuts never fix a recession. I understand why they do it, and they should do it. But at the same time, it's not a fix, right? Because right now they're struggling to fix the mortgage and the housing issue. And the reality is those 30-year loans are more on the 10-year yield, and the short rate cuts aren't really moving it. Sometimes they move the 10-year yield, but it's stubborn right now because it knows inflation is out there. Um, So that's my 2 cents. Let's finish. So all of these funds are pretty excellent. 140 on Tesla. Nvidia, what did it pay? 50 cents. What did it pay the month before? 49. A month before that, 51. The month before that, 52. 52, 50, 51, 51. So they're paying out the money. They're getting NAV erosion, but their total returns are still excellent. And this weekend, I'll update all that. Remember, I do it sometimes when I do Roundhill. I do it sometimes when I do another fund, Niels or somebody. So I can't do it in every fund because then I have to keep transferring all that. But I will do one this weekend when I do the Roundhills. All right. So Xbty. What did it pay? Well, it paid 41,735, 99.87. Look at this. 3 yields that are basically 100%. And then when we get down to Coyy, it's just been blowing it out, 180%. All right. So I'll cover that in a minute. So Xbity paid 41.75. It had paid, I moved my cursor so I'm not covering it, guys. The week before, 43, the week before that, 45, the week before that, 44, 47, 47, 47. Well, Bitcoin is still off its highs, right? I actually saw an article that makes me a little nervous and said that Bitcoin could well head to 100. And that'll shake out some people. All right, so let's go to the 2 index fund, which they're consistently yielding around that 49 to 50%. So their TQQY, right, on the NASDAQ paid 17 cents, the week before 17, the week before 18, 17, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 17, and 18. So again, with these weekly payers, you read off a slew of them, right? And same thing goes with the S&P 500. What did they pay? 18. 18 the week before, 18 the week before. A few 19s, 18s. Okay. So then we go the last one, and this is the one. It's the only one I own of these. Okay. Um, I'm considering TSYY. Again, my issue is I'm so much in the minors that I'm still worried about a pullback. So I'm not adding because of that worry, but it doesn't mean you should have that worry. All right. So what did they pay? 68.56, 180%. What did they pay the week before? 69, 73, 72, 84. Okay, these are the 5 payments this fund has made. All right, let's jump back in here to the actual data. And the only thing I did give you, I thought I'd give you another look. So all of these are so, you can't really compare these first 5 entries. These are all of Granite YieldBoost, the 2 indexes, the Nvyy, the BTC, and the Coyy, right? Well, Coyy started on 729. You've got 4.3, 226, 513, 513, and 1218. Their original launch of TSYY was clear back in the 24 timeframe. So when you look at these total returns, they're all over the place, right? Because they have all these different start dates, right? You got 91% because it started 729. You got 60 on their S&P 500. Okay, again, it's a 4.325. So what I did, at least, you can look at these. I'm not going to read them all. I said, okay, why don't I take the non-index funds, okay? Tesla, Nvidia is the underlying, BTC is the underlying, and Coyy. And let me give you the other 3 since 729. So my inception price changes, right? It changes back to what they were on 729. Everything on this side stays the same. Now we can look at returns. I reduce my distributions to only show what they've paid out, okay, since 729, right? And if they pay like on 731 for a weekly, I prorate that, right? I say, okay, well, it's 2 of 5, so I'm only going to take 40% of what they paid. So don't worry, I keep it real. So these are just 30 days. So your annualized distribution is going to get very high. It's going to go, oh my gosh, they paid 14% in 1 month. You have to multiply that by 12 and you get these real high numbers, but they're valid mathematically. But look at the NAV erosion. So Coyy has went 24.76. If you go back to this is the real price for them. They're the same thing up here as they are down in this group, right? But what I'm doing in this group, I had this color coded and then it changed. All right, let me color code. So these are all using 729. This is all Coy's got, but now I brought these other guys. So how do they all stack up? Well, actually, TSYY is looking very good. Up here, TSYY has a negative total return because it goes all the way back to 24 and it's been beat to crap. But this has got a little momentum going for it. So even though it's down a lot on the NAV, it's paid hugely. So TSYY isn't beaten down so much over this 729 period. It's only down 35 and it's paid 134% annualized. So that's kind of the winner of the 4 funds, which doesn't surprise me. Nvidia's held up well. And Xbty is really the low performer because Bitcoin since 729, after it went up to that high, has pulled back. So thought I would give you that as a bonus here for something else. But I will do the comparison across a whole bunch of coin funds, a whole bunch of Tesla funds, a whole bunch of Nvidia funds. And I just did one on all the BTC funds. So the only thing I didn't have was this Granite YieldBoost number, but actually I may have put that in there, just didn't have time to do the Granite video. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. Hope you found this interesting. I know Granite attracts a lot of attention because of the high pay, and we're all aware of the NAV erosion potential. We went through that with Yomax, but it's just kind of like Misty. If the underlying is going to go up, you're going to get less NAV erosion, right? So you always want to find an income fund that's bullish, and in the bull cycles, you know, you can handle that because you get paid so much and it doesn't go down much. And then in the down cycle, it goes down a lot. And if they try and pay a lot, then you get massive NAV erosion. All right, guys, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm going to let you go. Have a great Friday ahead, Thursday evening. So one more day before we take a holiday break. Let's see what Friday brings us in the markets. All right. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Bye for now, good peoples.